Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of the furniture with me, Daniel. It's season 13, episode 7, and today we play a massive game against Arsenal, by far the toughest test we've got in our final 4 games of the season, as we try to wrap up that 7th place in the league and sneak into Europe for the first time next season. It'd be a wonderful achievement after just 13 years, and if we can get some sort of result out of today, 7th would pretty much be almost assured now. We've got 3 more friendly games coming up towards the end of the year, away to 12th place Fulham, home to 18th place Brighton, and away to 14th place Burnley, and with 2 of those sides having nothing to play for, I really think we could be on to something special. We're still in the top 5 scorers in the leagues, 53 goals in 34 games, but we are conceding over 1 a game and are well in the bottom half on that front. Lee Rutherford's reached 20 goals for the season and plenty of other players are improving. Our central midfield partnership is really going through the roof. They're both reaching 4 and 4.5 star ability now as they start to establish themselves as real top Premier League players. So if we go and have a look at Omar, for example, he's now rated 4-star ability, 5-star potential, and he continues to improve. He keeps flicking towards 4.5, and don't forget he's only just turned 20. So hopefully some of these guys will be really crucial today. We've got everyone fit, which is all we could have asked for, and Arsenal are missing a few, so maybe we can push them and get at least a draw. Let's go and have a look at the schedule though. There is some bad news since the last episode. We did lose our FA Cup semi-final to Manchester City, but we did get a couple of Premier League wins either side, so we're not too disappointed all in all. You were with me for that 1-1 draw at home to Tottenham, before we met our youth intake after the Everton game. Not the best year in terms of academy products, but we've done okay on the pitch, and hopefully it means we'll get a strong one next year. We played at home to Southampton in the first game after the last episode, a fantastic 4-1 win. It didn't look on the cards after 3 minutes when we conceded an early goal, but Daniel Kozzel with a brace, and then Omar and Lappin, the 2 central midfielders, wrapping up a victory for us comfortably. We lost 2-1 at home to Manchester City. Lee Rutherford did get us a consolation with 20 to go, but we were already 2-0 down, and unfortunately we just couldn't compete on a day. City just about edged the game. We won 3-1 away to Brentford, the bottom side in the league. That was after a 2-week international break. Another Friday night game on TV. We've had at least 2 or 3 of those this season, but a fantastic victory. We were 2-0 up, and although Brentford got one back and started to make things edgy, they gifted us a goal with a quarter of an hour to go, and we ran out comfortable winners with a heavily rotated side. Then into April we've had 2 consecutive defeats, but they were against pretty tough opposition. Manchester United at home, we didn't expect to get anything in that. It was just a 1-0 defeat and we acquitted ourselves pretty well, so we weren't too disappointed all in all. And then away to Newcastle we lost 1-0, a side we've obviously managed in the head coach our other series this year and in the short term challenge over Christmas. They scored in the 2nd minute with their only shot on target in the game, and despite us dominating after that point, we just weren't great in front of goal. Daniel Kozzel in particular missing a couple of sitters. His rating in the game reflected that, and unfortunately we came out of it with nothing. But we've been doing okay recently. We haven't conceded more than 1 in a Premier League game since all the way back in January against Watford, so we are starting to improve defensively as well, but we're starting to struggle in front of goal at the moment, something that concerns me with 4 games to go. Tottenham below us have got a game in hand. They've only played 33, but they are 8 points behind us and can only reach 62 themselves, so they can't get into the top 6, and we only need 2 or 3 more wins. So fingers crossed we can get one of those today. Let's go and have a look at our lineup for the match. It's not the biggest focus off the pitch in this one because it's such an important moment on it. To get into Europe for the first time after 13 years, after a couple of seasons of mid-table mediocrity, really would be something special, and with a particularly young side developing all the time, I really think we could start to compete in the next 1 or 2 years. But let's have a look at our lineup. Again, a couple of changes in positions we've not been sure all year. So Lucas Beger's partnered by Recchio today. This time it's Leclerc who's dropped out of the side. Lilio's been displaced by Lonergan Irwin at left back, and then we have been rotating Hernaner and Alvaro Gonzalez for a little while now, but Hernaner's back in the lineup today. Gonzalez settles for a place on the bench. So it means for today we've got Badger in goal, the brilliant goalkeeper who's made such an impact. He's got an average rating above a 7. He was out for 1 or 2 games with injury, but he's back to his best now. We've got Quirk and Lonergan Irwin the fullbacks, with Beger and Recchio in the middle. Bacanez in the holding role, finally starting to improve and get over his injury, but his determination domination is creeping down, though everything else is rising perfectly. In centre midfield we've got Omar and Lapin, Aaron Kozzel on the wings, and Lee Rutherford, the goal machine up front. His current ability is starting to drop now, but after 34 games he's got 17 league goals, 1 in 2, we can't complain about that. If he gets to 19 at the end of the year, I'll certainly be a very happy man. We've got plenty of game changers on the bench as our squad really starts to improve, and I'm quite optimistic that if we get into Europe next year, we might be able to compete with our reserve side. But let's get into this game against Arsenal. We'll start with a positive mentality, and hopefully we'll be able to get at least a point to push us towards that 7th place. It's a 4-2-3-1 for Arsenal, still plenty of real players, particularly in defensive areas. Kieran Tierney at left back, of course a player who might be joining them in real life. The deal may well be done by the time this episode comes out. I'm recording it 3 or 4 days in advance. They've got Curtis, the England #1 in goal, a fantastic goalkeeper he is, and Navarro up front with Conceição in behind. Plenty of high quality players there. I can't see Woodbine anywhere in the squad. That's the one positive out of this one. He came on in the FA Cup final and terrorised us, and did pretty well earlier in the season too. Although they have got a couple of other players about. Yuri Tielemans, who's at Leicester in real life, he's another one for us to look out for. Let's go and talk to the lads and tell them to do it for the fans. Stuart Jelling's been right so many times this year, and we're going to trust him again with this one. I can't find the right team talk from the list. There it is. Give the fans a performance to cheer for. Rutherford's picked up a little bit of confidence. He might have some bigger competition next year. Michael Duncan's technically better than him. His current ability's 3.5 star, but Rutherford's not coming out of the team at this stage. He's been so brilliant for us all season long. We keep getting messages about the United manager, Valverde, who's in charge there at the moment, but he's not someone we've got to worry ourselves with. They beat us 1-0 and it's probably kept him in a job. Bedger and Recchio playing the ball along the back as we continue from the kick-off, but with 5 minutes gone there's no real highlight and the score remains 0-0. It's a throw for Arsenal on the left. Kieran Tierney puts it in. Quirk intercepts and it falls for Rutherford. He's been challenged, a bad place to lose it, but Lonergan Irwin does well to win it back. Really alert defending. Omar finds Kozzel into Rutherford, into the 6-yard box. A brilliant effort. Curtis down to his right to tip it wide. Fantastic goalkeeping by the England #1. Kozzel to deliver in front of a capacity crowd again, and he's headed away to the edge for Hernan Air. He's going to take his man on the left, and he's been fouled eventually. Good hold-up play by the winger. Can we create something from this set piece? Lee Rutherford's going to take it. He tries to shoot, it's a little bit greedy, plenty of big men in the box, but it deflects off the wall for a corner kick. Kozzel with an outswinger this time. There's 4 or 5 in there. Recchio with a free header, but he's straight at Curtis. Either side it would have been a goal. Plenty of power, but no real direction. We've got a throw on the left with Lonergan Irwin. Omar flicks it just wide of the post. We're really starting to dominate this game. Probably the best we've started any match against the top side. It's a throw on the left for Tierney again, and as I say that, Arsenal create a chance. Cross gets it to Mustasa. He shoots just wide. Badger had that covered comfortably, and with 20 minutes gone we're relatively happy. We've had the better of the chances, and Wayne Curtis has had to be at his best. Mustasa in the middle again. He finds Cross on the left hand side. Plenty of men for him to switch it to, but he goes inside to Tielemans. Outside to Tierney on the left again, in towards the centre forward Navarro. Recchio heads it away, but it's only fallen for Tielemans again. Lonergan Irwin and Kozzel lose out in the air. Nirvana the right back overlapping. It deflects off the fullback and heads for the near post, but Badger gets down well to tip it wide. It's a corner kick for Arsenal. Reece Nelson will take. Tar's got a free header at the back post, but it's straight into the arms of Badger. A really tame effort from their first shot on target. A quarter of the game gone, and we're delighted with the way it's gone so far. It's a throw on the left for Lonergan Irwin. He tries to find Rutherford, beats the fullback. It's a misjudgment from the Arsenal defender. Into Hernan Air, his shot's blocked. The keeper had gone down, it was probably on its way in. Lapin does it with a third strike though. It fell to him on the edge of the box. The first one was blocked and he hit a snap volley with the second. A fantastic strike, and even though it was relatively central and almost went down the middle, Wayne Curtis couldn't react. A fantastic goal from Lapin. The 2 central midfielders have become absolute superstars this year, and someone like Hayes, who's such a good Premier League player, can't even get a game in the side now. He'll be our European captain next year, but we've got to defend this Arsenal attack. Tierney tries to cross it and it's blocked. Cross gets it in again and Recchio heads away. Only as far as Nirvana though. Still an area we've got to improve centre half, though in the next episode on the last day of the season, we'll of course talk a bit more about our plans for next year. We'll have to expand the squad slightly for the Europa League, but we don't want to do too much as there's some youngsters in the squad we need to give a chance to. Arsenal hit another shot from distance wide, and it remains 1-0 with 10 minutes to the break. It's a free kick for Badger, deep in our own half. Long ball forward which Omar chases. Headed away by Tar, but it only falls for Omar again. He gets it to Kozul, who's cutting in from the left. Brilliant effort for the far corner. It was bending in possibly, but Wayne Curtis got down to tip it wide. We don't see the corner in a highlight, and with 5 minutes to the break, we could pretty much wrap up Europe with this result. There's a long way to go in this game though. I'm sure Arsenal will respond in the second half. It's Nelson in the middle who wins it back for Arsenal. They're now coming over halfway in midfield. Navarro holds it up and goes back to Conceição. They've got 2 men over on the left. One of them's crossed the winger. He came from Brighton earlier in the season and he shoots from the edge, but it's straight into the arms of Badger. Still no real danger for him so far. A minute till half time. What a performance from the lads. There's the half-time whistle, then a 1-0 lead courtesy of a fantastic strike from Dimitri Lapin. We've been the better side as well, something I've never been able to say against the top 6. We're going to tell the lads not to get complacent. Most of them are completely motivated. And let's hope they all maintain their performance levels in the second half and Arsenal don't react to their boss. Conceição gets the ball from the kick-off and Arsenal go back to Tar, the centre-half. Alongside the back, they're not playing it forward, they're just keeping the ball and we're happy enough with that. The highlight ends with no danger to our goal or even our half of the pitch, and with a minute gone in the second half, it's still looking good so far. It's a free kick on the right hand side, a dangerous position for Rutherford, back to Kozul at the edge of the box, but he shoots just wide of the post. A decent effort and we continue to create chances, but it's still just 1-0 at the moment. It's a throw on the right, Richard Quirk to take. Couple of short highlights in a row and a lovely bit of skill from Hernan Air there. A little bit of a back flick back to Quirk and now Baccanes finds Omar. Kozul on the overlap but goes back to Omar again. Now Lonergan Irwin on the left side of the box, back to Omar as we keep possession. Into Kozul just inside, Lonergan Irwin tries to cross but it's blocked and out to Dimitri Lapin. He finds Hernan Air, blocked to Richard Quirk. First goal of the season for him. What a fantastic moment. The youth intake player from 4 or 5 years ago, one of the best players we've ever produced, probably the best by some way actually, comes back and scores a goal and it could be one to take us into Europe. What a hero, and with 20 minutes to go, let's go and make a couple of subs. We've got Hernan Air with a yellow card on the right wing, been the second worst outfield player as well, so Alvaro Gonzalez will come on for him. We've got a couple of others to think about, but I want to give these lads 5 more minutes. We don't need to mess with the line-up too much, as we're playing really well in this game. It's cross on the left-hand side to Masek, the sub-striker on for Arsenal. Out to Tierney on the left and now cross, and back to Tierney again. The captain here, will that happen in real life? We'll wait and find out in a few years' time. Tielemans finds Conceição, and it's another wild effort from 30 yards. Comfortably over the bar, and it remains 2-0 at Torquay. It's Richard Quirk with a throw on the right. He finds Baccanes and now Omar. Rutherford's trying to peel off the defender. It's a brilliant through ball by Omar. Rutherford forces the save from Curtis. What a brilliant midfield display from the lads. Omar goes above a 7 with that, and Kozul puts the ball to the back post. Nirvana heads away, and Masek can counter-attack. It's a 2-on-2 very briefly. We've got 3 men back now, but Arsenal are pouring forward. Conceição delivers from the left, but it's blocked behind for a corner. Richard Quirk doing his job at the back now. Fantastic all-round game from him. Tielemans delivers the in-swinger. Richard Quirk heads it away. It falls for Conceição, but Badger makes the save. And now we've got the ball with Lucas Badger at the back. Long ball over. It's beaten the Arsenal defence. Rutherford forces a block. It's behind for a corner kick and we will make another change. We've got a couple of performers we'd like to take off. The first one's going to be Lonergan Irwin. Lidio, the young left-back, will come on. The Brazilian who's had horrible luck with injuries this year. The same goes for Baccanes in a holding role. We'll give it another 5 and then Vladimir will come on for him. We can drop him to an anchorman position and go a little bit more defensively, especially in terms of our structure. Recchio gets up for the header in the box, loses out to the Arsenal defender and is headed away for a throw on the left-hand side, and with 10 to go it's still looking good. Yuri Tielemans off injured for Arsenal, so they're down to 10 now as they've used all 3 subs, so we are going to take off Baccanes and Vladimir will come on for him. We're not even going to drop him to an anchorman now as they're a man short in midfield. We're just going to get back into it and try to dominate for the last 10 minutes of the game. 2 minutes to go, it's Richard Quirk with a throw on the right. Vladimir's lost out and Cross can have the shot, but it's comfortable for Badger, a decent height. He gets down to his left. Another rating above the 7 for the new keeper. He's really made such a difference this season. He's commanding from corners, the defence has been more steady, and you saw our defensive record had improved. We're not conceding so many goals, not more than 1 in a game, since the middle of January in the league. We've got a penalty now with Lee Rutherford. The centre-half's picked up a booking for Arsenal, and as they've gone all out attack, they've been caught out out at the back and Rutherford gets his goal. 18th of the season in the league for him, 22nd in all competitions, smashes the ball down the middle and the first comprehensive win of the series against a really top class side. Don't forget Arsenal were the champions of England last year. They won the domestic double after beating us in the FA Cup final too, so they possibly were the best side in England at the start of this year, and despite losing one key midfielder, we've absolutely ran riot today. A wonderful performance from the boys and the first time we've dominated a top class side. We're going to tell them we're happy with the result and even more pleased with the performance, and we'll go and have a look at what the media have said about the game. Hopefully they're as excited as us. There it is then, the media describing it as an end-to-end battle. We take it with a 3-0 victory. A fantastic performance by the boys. Richard Quirk was sensational. The goalkeeper badgers a really steady rock at the back, and I think we're starting to build a good side for next year, though Richard Quirk may not be here, and that's my biggest worry at the moment. Look how good he's becoming now. Southampton's still looking for around 80 million for him, and we just haven't got that money to spend on a fullback, even though he's one of our own and an absolutely world-class talent. They did pay 25 million, so we've got to accept we may have to pay the same, but I don't really want to go beyond that for a player that we've produced. Let's deal with the press conference very quickly before looking at our last 3 games of the season. We're very pleased with the result against Arsenal. We do need to overreact to this because it's one of the best games we've seen this season. We've really dominated against a world-class side, and you can't ask for much more than that as the Torquay manager. We're still a little side in the grand scheme of this league. Yes, we have got the players that can compete now. We've got facilities that are decent Premier League level, but we're certainly not right at the top. Though Quirk and Rutherford are in for England calls, that looks really promising for us. If we can get some England internationals at the club, surely the reputation will improve. Neil Wood's the England manager. I've got to be honest, I don't know who that is. The under-23s assistant manager at Man United. He looks like he's going to go on to have a good career. He's got a 4.5-star reputation and his attributes are sensational, so fair play to him and good luck to the England side. Let's go and have a look at the schedule. You already know what our last 3 games are. We're just going to come back for the last one to see if we can wrap up our European place. We only need 2 wins out of the 3 for sure, and that's presuming Tottenham get all 15 points. That's unlikely to happen. They've already lost 14 games this year, so hopefully we are pretty much there now. Tottenham need 12 just to overtake us. Lee Rutherford's still the top scorer in the league, 4 clear of anyone else. He's had a sensational season, and he might only be a 3-star player now, but he's certainly going to be involved in the first team for us. It's not going to change over the next season or 2. He's performing way above his attributes, and as long as he continues to do that, we'll keep him at the spearhead of the team. We've got Burnley on the last day of the season, who we hope are going to be playing for nothing. They can't get relegated anymore, providing that Brighton don't win their game in hand. And then after that, they can't really reach Europe. The highest place they can get to is 8th or 9th. So there isn't going to be too much risk involved with that. Hopefully it'll be a comfortable performance, but I'd like to have done the job by then, and hopefully Tottenham will do it for us. But if you did enjoy this episode, and probably the best performance of the series, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We have won a few Premier League games heavily before, but this is against the champions from last year, the team that beat us in the FA Cup final, the team that hold the domestic double at the moment. To produce that sort of convincing display against them, a comfortable 3-0 victory, a clean sheet and plenty of goals, everything was absolutely perfect. So after the disappointment of the draw in the last episode, which was enough to see off Tottenham for now, and the poor youth intake as well, we've redeemed it in this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I really think it bodes well for the last few years of this series, as we try to compete at the top of English football and win a few major trophies with Torquay. As we mentioned in the next episode, we'll be talking a lot more about the plans for next season, what we want to do with the squad. It will still be a similar approach, but we've got to expand it a bit for the Europa League. So start to let me know your opinions on what you think we need to do, any of the players you think need to go, and which ones you think may need replacing in the first 11. I'm really interested to know your thoughts. We've got a few days before the transfer special, so I can take your opinions on board, and hopefully we'll be able to build a better squad. As I mentioned before, we don't use the player search screen in this game, and we are 14 years in the future almost, so don't worry about telling me names or players to look out for. I just want to know from your opinion of our squad, which areas of the team you feel need improving, and then we'll trust our scouts and director of football to go and find us the appropriate players. But we've got 3 more games to focus on before we do that. We need to look at the FA Cup final as well after, to make sure there's no risk of 7th not getting us into Europe. Subscribe to the channel for daily FM19 content from my 2 long-term stories. This one on with Torquay United and our Journeyman series The Head Coach. We moved clubs at the start of the current season in that one, and it's certainly been an interesting year, so do go back and check it out if you're not up to date with the series. There's also 3 episodes a week from Cricket 19, the official game of the Ashes. We've been playing a little Ashes test playthrough for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll be starting our long-term career mode series. That's next Saturday at 12 o'clock. I really am grateful for the support on that series. I've really enjoyed the game so far, and I hope you continue to enjoy the content. There'll certainly be plenty of it on the channel. And we're also continuing our weekly Snooker 19 career. That's every Friday at 4:30. Another new console game I've really enjoyed, so we'll be continuing with that one for a little while yet. But a massive thanks for watching and your continued support with the series and the channel as a whole as always. I really do appreciate it, and we'll see you next time for another big episode as we try to confirm our place in Europe.